What's up, everybody, man? It has been a while since we've done the post game thing. Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, Heat Ratio Sports. Like I said, rebranding, relaunching. Got a lot of big things ahead. So I'm going to start doing a lot more of these different personalities. You're going to see collaborations, but very, very interesting here, man. Very interesting. And it's how you get involved, right? Very simple. If you're on YouTube, obviously make sure that you're liked and subscribed to the show. If you're on Twitter right now, go over to YouTube. Okay, go to the YouTube link and just click on it, and then you can get involved in the show. On top of that, okay, if you have a microphone, if you have a camera, if you have a cell phone, I put the link right there. You can get involved in the show. I will put you in a green room. I will put you live on the air. I have no idea what I just watched. My man Andre checking in. Andre, I am still trying to figure out. You're going to hear a lot. Okay, you're going to hear a lot. As we go through this show. Okay. Post game shows will get a little crazy. My man Rob checking it crazy. Rob, I don't understand. I don't understand. I am trying for the life of me. I keep saying this. I have been the biggest Jalen Hurts supporter. I really have. I've been the biggest Jalen Hurts supporter. But what in God's name was that last play? I'm still trying to figure it out. Before we get into anything about the defense or anything about the offense, what the hell was that last play? You legitimately had 13 yards to get to one of the most steadiest place kickers in all of the NFL. And you decide to throw a bomb to somebody that's not even open. Not even open. I don't what possesses you to go for it all right there? You already know right now that you need 3 points. You have a guy that's closed out a game at 61 yards with no problem. Right? Exactly. Andre, that's all we needed to do. Salvage this game. And here, I'm gonna say so many different things, man. So many different things on this. It's been a while. My man Sean checking in. Eagles Syracuse 2024 National Chance Common Core Heisman Trophy. At least Sean has got something to get involved about here, man. Like seriously. I mean, I just can't for the life of me figure out what's going on. I just can't. I am at a loss for words, and usually, Jigsaw's not at a loss for words, but I am at a loss for words again. If you are watching on Twitter right now, swing over to the YouTube channel, Heat Ratio Sports. Go like, go subscribe, get involved so you can comment. I want to hear your reaction right now, your rage, your review. I'm going to have some people joining me very, 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 very soon. Okay. There is a link if you're watching on Facebook. If you want to get on the air, boom, get on the air. You could be live on the air right now. All you need is a cell phone. All you need is a camera. All you need is a microphone, man. Click on that, put your name in, boom. You'll go backstage, and I will set you on virtual live right now. My man Sean says, I feel like I just watched the Bad News Bears NFL edition. Here's the thing, and I keep saying this over and over and over again. I know everybody is worried about fixing the defense. I know everybody is worried about the corners. I know everybody's worried about the linebackers. But can we just listen to something for 1 second and please explain to me if you tell me I'm wrong? If you tell me I'm wrong, fine. Not a problem. I don't mind, right? I don't mind. But this is not a team that was built on their defense. This was a team that we were supposed to be scoring 24 to 27 to 30 points a game, and we weren't relying on the defense. See, this is the problem. Now that we can't score points like we used to, now the defense is highlighted. Maybe the defense wasn't that good as we thought it was last year. Let's think about that because we were scoring points like crazy. Listen, you have to remember something. You have to remember something. Okay. Oh, wait. Before I even say that, can I just give a quick, I got to give props, man, because there's a guy on the Philadelphia Eagles that has literally been getting his name getting through the mud every single day. And that's Nicholas Morrow. Okay, I am not a fan of Nicholas Morrow. I'm not a Nicholas Morrow believer, but I can tell you what, that dude busted his ass tonight. Okay, and he stood up Kenneth Walker 1-on-1 when they needed a big play. Nicholas Morrow was there. I watched Nicholas Morrow deflect a couple plays, a couple passes, and nobody even talks about that. They just want to bury this dude. They just want to bury this dude over and over and over again. My man Adam checking in says Brian Johnson has bad play calls. Why would you do a deep ball when you get two? And here's the thing, Adam. I can tell you something right now. That was not a Brian Johnson call. That was not a Brian Johnson call. That was a 100% Jalen Hurts call. And I really have to question. I have to question the Jalen Hurts decision, man. That was a terrible decision. Terrible. You just don't do it. My man Javon checking in says this defense lacks physicality and aggressiveness. Yes, 100%, man. 100%. And the thing that people keep failing to realize, okay, is these aren't the kind of corners that you have that could stay with people, man. Like, everybody wants a Barry Bradbury. Everybody wants a Barry Bradbury. But Bradbury's not a guy, okay, that's going to run and gun with somebody. That's not his game. He's his own corner. Okay, that's what he does. So, you can't blame James Bradbury. The problem is we can't get to the quarterback, man. We're not getting to the quarterback. That's the issue. Last year, we were getting to the quarterback at will. Listen, man, I am dumbfounded right now. My man Andre says 100% Mariota or 70% Hurts. I know it's easy to say now, but I got to know it's a 70% Hurts. 70. There is no way in hell. Like, there's no Nick Foles story here, man. Like, literally, honestly, Andre, to me, there is no Nick Foles story. There's Marcus Mariota stinks. Okay. Literally, he absolutely stinks. Okay. Unless you want him to run. Okay. Unless you want him to run. That's all he's going to be able to do. That is it. Okay. Sean says no reason to throw that pass at the end of the game, nor the Quez. Hurts was terrible tonight. And the coaching staff sucked again. Listen, here's the thing. The thing about Quez, I'm not going to blame that on Hurts. People, honestly, I have to say, that ball, there's no way, and don't even tell me about the call. I don't want to hear about the phantom call. They didn't call. Quez Watkins has to know that he has to jump in front of that route and bully his way to that ball, man. He has to bully his way to that ball. It's just terrible. I got my man David. My man Dave. Listen, man, as always, you know the man, he needs no introduction. Help me, Dave, man. I'm dying here, brother. I'm dying.
Bro, one of the worst losses we've had in recent history. You can take blowouts. When they happen, they hurt, right? That was Drew effing Lock that went 92 yards on you at the end of the game. And we can point to somebody. I agree with you on the Quez. Like, any throw to Quez ends up in disaster. It should not even go. My bigger problem with the whole play there was, why? We just moved 25 yards in 4 plays, and we got to rip it long. He's got to stop relying on this idea that I just got to throw it up there and my guys will make plays, because guess what? We have playmakers. Give him the ball in the open spaces. You don't have to throw it long. What was he, 0 for 5, I think, with 20-plus yards downfield? Even, like, I seen some comments here. Why are we throwing it 35 yards? We need a 10, 15-yard out to get a chance at a field goal. We had 2 timeouts in the bag. But, Tone, the defense, you're right about Bradbury. I do blame him. Don't get me wrong. But, damn, Sidney Brown stunk. Where are you? Like, on the DK Metcalf play for 34 yards, nobody else is going long. You bit inside for a half second that gave you no time to get back outside and give him help over the top. Like, Sidney Brown was terrible tonight. Terrible.
He was bad.
Like,
he was bad.
It'll be easy to blame Bradbury, and he was bad. the pressure up front is non-existent. None.
What happened? Like what happened to our pressure?
Well, teams know, right? They know a little bit what we're trying to do, so they get it out quick. When he threw the 34-yard pass to DK on 3rd and 10, he didn't care. He closed his eyes and just threw it up. It's tough.
You said it, man. I mean, honestly, I am like I'm dumbfounded right now. I'm blown away. Like, did I just watch Drew Lock? And listen, we can say we want, man, but that was one hell of a throw.
It is.
It just sucks that it was Drew Lock.
We're safety over top. The only thing you can get beat on is a long play there, and we got nothing. Sidney Brown runs to take the running back in the flat. Why is a safety taking a running back in the flat with 22 freaking seconds left? Oh my God.
I know.
And listen, let me ask you this. Who made the call, Matt Patricia?
You know, I think I think there's a big story behind that, man. Like I honestly, I think, I think we all know what happened with the Jonathan Gannon situation. They wanted Vic Fangio, right? We know. Listen, Gannon kind of screwed him a little bit. Fangio goes to Miami. They make a quick and sudden move to Desai, who I don't think they really wanted, and I think that's why it took them a little long, right? So they bring him in, and then they bring in Patricia to be that assistant, right? Be that assistant, and then you look at it, and it's like now there's a problem with Slay. Now, all of a sudden, Slay goes, let me just tell you something. 100%, and I'm going to get, there's a ton of comments. My man Rich is in the back. We're going to get Rich on live. He's joining us live on the air. And here's what I want to say. You've probably, Dave, seen the last of Darius Slay. He's done as an Eagle.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think Howie made the move to go to Patricia. This is the thing that the front office does, and they did it to Doug Peterson. Let's walk it back to that day. They didn't let him pick his own coordinators. And when he didn't even keep some of his own guys, he's like, I'm out the dough. And things look great when you're winning, right? And you don't have to make these moves, but they manipulate. And I feel like they're starting to panic. And I think they're making moves for Sirianni. And that just puts up a bad locker room. Like you said, Slay's going to be in trouble here because he doesn't like Patricia. Lots of things. Mike Daniel chimed in, and believe me, I'm with this guy 100%. Not only 17 this week versus a horrible Seattle defense, 6 against Dallas last week. We just watched Buffalo go for like 300 yards rushing against them. The week before, 19 against San Fran, but you might as well throw out the last 6. They were trash. They were in the fourth quarter and we were down 30. It's pretty much 1 touchdown a week, if that, for this team right now. It's not good.
It's not. It's really, really not. This is not what we were supposed to be. It was not. And before I put Rich on with us live, and again, if you want to get involved in the call, if you want to get involved, there's a link right now. It's on Facebook. You're watching on Facebook. There's a link to join live. Obviously, comment. Keep the comments coming. But if you want to join live, just click on the link. Or if you're watching on Twitter right now, it's on there as well. All you got to do is click on it, boom, and we'll get you on air. But real fast before we get to Rich, it's funny. How quick these things can spiral, right? You make a great point about, Sirianni. Let's remember that as much as we all love Nick Sirianni, right? The reason why Nick Sirianni was hired because he was one of the guys he was willing to go along with the flow, that it may be Howie making decisions. It may be Mr. Lurie making decisions, right? So let's not forget about that. And how quickly, listen, winning cures all. When you start losing, all of a sudden these things got to play. But let me get my man Rich on. Let's get Rich on because my man, Rich, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Down?
I love it. Just so everybody knows, man, my man Rich has been a long time supporter of the show, of me. We go back and forth, and this is great, man. This is why
many a year.
Get some interact. Rich, what's going through your mind right now, man?
I can't understand why their offense has to be greedy.
Yep.
Like you're moving the ball, just grinding. Short passes to AJ, short passes to Smith. You're running the ball with Swift. Then all of a sudden, you throw the ball deep to Quez Watkins. Why? He hasn't made a play in over 2 years. The last 5 plays that he's been in for deep balls have been either a turnover or an incomplete pass.
Drop pass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drop
Yep.
pass. So why at that point, with 5 minutes to go, or under 5 minutes to go, you go and get greedy for a play that shouldn't even have happened? You didn't need that play. It's a 10% chance play. Why? Why make that play at that call at that point? I just don't understand their offense. There's no flow to this offense right now at all.
But don't you
For
think
the
that was
past
Hurts?
5-6 games, especially.
Don't you think that's Hurts? I don't think there's any way in the history of the world that you call up Quez Watkins street for your go route there, like as your primary receiver. Like, I don't know why. I think Hurts just at times when he goes bad, he backs up and just rips it. And I don't get it either. I don't get it.
I don't get it. It's boggling my mind, man. My man Sean checking it. Where Sean, I just posted a link right here. It's in. If you're on YouTube right now, boom, you just go on. If you're on Facebook, it's in the Facebook post. You just got to click on that and type your name in, and you'll be good to go. Vance says, Tony, this team is softer than truck store cotton, and they don't have an identity. They whipped on both quarters. Listen, they did. And here's the thing. Let me ask both of you guys this, and the audience as well. They've really pigeonholed themselves here because guess what? Jalen wanted Brian Johnson, right? So because he wanted Brian Johnson, I think you're kind of screwed, man. It's not like what are you going to do? Piss off your franchise quarterback and just throw this dude in the wayside? No, you're going to keep sticking with him. But something seems off. I want to ask Rich. I'm going to ask Dave because Dave, I know how you feel, but I want you to let the audience know. But Rich, this is the first time that I'm actually going to bash Jalen. I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to, but I just have to because I don't see the urgency this year. I don't see it. And how many batted balls are we get this? All of a sudden this dude can't see over the line. I don't know what's going on. Rich, what do you say?
Two things. You called 13 runs for him tonight. That was your most successful play. 13 runs. So that means was he too sick to run this offense tonight? If he was too sick to run the offense, then maybe Mariota should. As much as I didn't want to see Mariota in the game,
none of us want to see Mariota.
No. But if you're too sick, at some point, maybe you have to switch it up for this game. If he's too 13 times to run the ball is just ridiculous for this. That's your most successful play tonight was him running the ball for 82 yards 13 times. And if you notice, every time on the sideline, he's got a disgusted look on his face.
Yes.
There's no joy at all this year. I mean, he doesn't smile. He doesn't do anything on the sideline at all. He just sits there, and it's a disgusted look every time you see on the sideline.
It's a good point because that was not there that last year, Dave. That was right. I mean, it was a completely different person last year.
It was. I think where my issues with Hurts right now is his patience in the pocket and his ability to step up. His first sign, a little bit of rush, he's going backwards. And then where does he go? Push right or left? And even the Niners said it. We just got to push him out because he's going to run. And I mean, I didn't want to believe that they were right.
I know.
But in my head, I'm like, I see it, but I'm not going to say it. But it is a little bit of uncertainty, I guess.
He's got the happy feet now.
Yeah, right.
The moment he feels the slight, and believe me, he wasn't pressured at all tonight. No. I mean, Seattle for the most part.
Sacks.
Yeah.
0 sacks.
Yeah. And a few times he didn't climb the pocket.
He doesn't.
Climb the pocket.
Yeah.
You don't have to go right or left all the time. Climb the pocket. If you climb the pocket, you give yourself a little more time and you're able to see down the field.
Can you remember a third down play when he threw 35 yards to A.J. Brown so short when Devontae Smith is open by about 20 yards flashing in front of him?
Yep.
Aikman
called that out too, man.
Little tunnel vision. Tunnel vision too. He's almost pre-scripting where he's going to go in it. Listen, I think he can fix this. I really do. I'm with Tony. I'm a big Hurts guy. But right now he needs to own it, and he's playing bad. He's not playing even nearly.
Can I ask a question too? Why is Swift not getting the ball? Gainwell is in there, and I'm like, why are we not using Swift more? You brought this guy in. I know he's had past injuries, But I mean, every time he gets the ball, I mean, he seems like he's able to make a big play with it. And it's
You know
smart
what's
play.
weird about that? Did you guys catch the commentary with Joe Buck tonight about that when he was saying, DeAndre Swift is run down and they're really trying to.
But
what
how?
was
He
that?
never touches it.
I was like, where is this coming from? Now all of a sudden we would, they would love to get Gainwell involved, because DeAndre Swift has been worn down. From what?
From what?
He's not even getting a freaking ball.
He's 15
2 games ago. He had 4 carries in the first half.
Yeah,
How can he be run down?
I don't get it. Javon checking in says, they said they treat Swift like he's Miles Sanders, which is puzzling, man. It's Vance checking in says the Eagles also lost Bernard Wilson because they didn't promote him to DC. Underrated loss, but that's a good point, man. See, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big, and they didn't do much with that in the offseason. They tried to brush that one past us pretty quick there, but it was like what they did with Deuce a little bit too, if you remember that.
Right. Yes. Yeah, they got a good PR department, man. My man Bill says he was flat-footed all night, can't find nor create throwing lanes that way. Now, here's the get, man. Frankfurt's finest right here. This is a football coach right here, man. Teaches high school kids, coaches high school kids. He knows he knows what he's watching. And the one thing about Jalen Hurts is, and I say this all the time, like this year, I feel like last year, he was dropping more like 5, 6, 7 step drops. Now all of a sudden he's dropping 3 steps, which is fine, but 3 steps to get the ball out. Now he's dropping 3 steps and holding on to the ball. The pocket's collapsing on him, and he's got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Eric, what's up, my man? You're right. What a frustrating loss. The Seahawks are. I'm Pete Carroll. I like Pete Carroll, but the last thing I want to see was Pete Carroll getting all hyped up, man.
Yeah, stop. I wanted him to choke on his gum. I couldn't do that. I can't with that guy. He's so lost. He called 2 horrible timeouts and gets bailed out by it. Oh, my God. He stinks.
Well, I mean, if you look, too, with Hurts this year, I think right now I saw that one of them was that they're 28th or 29th in his throws being the most difficult.
Yeah.
So, he's throwing the ball downfield more than you got AJ Brown.
I think it's his choice. I think he's doing it more than I don't know.
Because I can't understand why aren't you using I don't know before Dallas got hurt. I mean, why aren't you using him? I mean, he's a weapon that just seems to be tossed by the wayside. They don't throw the ball in the middle of the field at all.
But when they do,
it's outside the hash most times.
Yeah, but when they do, the slants are so good. You're right. When they do, it works. It really does.
This
I mean, when do you really see them up until tonight that they used? AJ Brown is a beast. I mean, you can't tackle the guy. I mean, I would be throwing him a quick hitter and just saying, eventually he's going to break one. For
that's
20,
the thing.
30 touchdowns.
They're doing those slants, and they work every time, and then they go away from it.
Yeah. I just don't understand why there's a disconnect on keep doing something until they stop you.
Yeah, and that's why, to an extent, I really do believe this can get fixed. You're about to go up against 3 opponents where you can get healthy quick. But the problem is, can we really trust this offensive coordinator? And that's where I'm really torn here and the quarterback to really execute the game plan. And even Sirianni has another year or 2, whatever happens, but he's still not on my nice list right now.
Oh, yeah. Listen, man, like I said, as soon as we start to collapse a little bit, things start to happen, man. I mean, you start to think, and you start now, Rob, my man, Rob, what's up, Rob? Checking in. Love the beard as always. Yes. He says, Tony, what do we change for the last 3 games? So, Dave, you just mentioned we can fix it. Well, so what are we fixing? What are we doing in these last 3 games?
Well, man? First off, I think and Rich is going there, but I think the commitment to the run and stop throwing it deep. We got to stop. We got to commit to the run, and we really do have to forget the screen passes. I think even Javon commented earlier; those are just trash.
It's ridiculous.
We don't run in motion. We don't do it. But get these plays over the middle. Let our playmakers make plays with the ball in their hands and get yards after the catch, and really commit to the run. Tonight, you'll see the running stats, like Rich said, but they're going to be skewed because Jalen ran it so much.
13 rushes.
I still think they need more Swift. And I'm still okay with small doses of game. Well, I am. I think
to give Swift a break.
Yes. And I just think we got to get there on offense. We have to start winning games
Ugly.
21-17. We got to dominate like we did in the first half tonight.
Why is it so bad that you like win ugly, win smash mouth? Like San Francisco don't have a problem doing it.
Yeah,
you know,
we can't
they
win.
They just pound you and pound you and pound you. And they said, we're going to rush Christian McCaffrey and we're just going to keep on being physical with you. The Eagles can be physical with that line. Their line is a beast, but they just get away from it. Like as soon as they get stopped for a 1 or 2 yard gain, that's it. We got to start passing the ball again.
Yeah,
why?
And we can't win.
Wear them down.
Not with this defense. We can't you have to hide this defense. So I think we really got to slow it down and change the offensive scheme. What do you think, Tone?
Yeah, I don't know what to think. I'm being honest with you. Like, I really don't. Like, I watch these games just like you guys, and I try to break them down. And I thought like they opened up pretty hot, man. They were like, okay, we're running the ball, we're smacking on the mouth, we go down, right? I was like, okay, here we go. And then all of a sudden, we just went back to the old school of thought again. It was like,
well, the false start killed him. The false start killed him. That Kelsey false start. That was
that was a little soft too, by the way.
Yeah,
that was a little soft if you ask me. I think that now all of a sudden I think that they're looking now.
What can we find? To stop it.
Yes. Yeah. It's ridiculous if you have to think about that. But the other thing is that we really didn't touch on yet too. Before I get to that, Bill says Division College One football and the NFL are worlds apart. And when all is said and done, that is Brian Johnson's experience. It's a great point, man. That's a great point. Again, like that's a great point. Like, and Vance backs up. He says Brian does have a feel for calling a game in the NFL. He's not the guy. But the problem is we made him the guy because Jalen wanted him to be the guy.
Yep.
Right. So you just committed to $200-something million to Jalen Hurts, and now all of a sudden you're going to tell him, "Hey, Jalen, by the way, the guy you want, the boy, he ain't the guy. We're out." Like it's crazy to me to think about that. It really is. But how about the routes, the collapse, and guys are running the same routes and they're running into each other. Like, what the hell is going on?
When we play our best, it's when it's unscripted. Like it's when we can just freewheel and go. When it's scripted, except for the first 15 plays tonight, but that's a rarity. We don't score in the first quarter.
Yeah,
but it's like that's the only time we could, like versus Buffalo, versus Washington, when we get down, can just go all around and play backyard football. That's the only time we're good, and that tells you one thing: it is a lot on Brian Johnson. I really do agree.
It is.
His offense is too whatever. It's not for me.
Predictable.
It's very predictable.
Vanilla. Yeah. I mean,
and the deep routes, like you said.
They're like 32nd in the league in motion. They don't run any motion on there at all. I mean, you don't see anybody moving around on offense. I mean, at least if you move AJ around, Devontae, you get something. Maybe you get a defense confused a little bit. I mean, it's pretty easy to defend if you don't have to move anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. You're right, 100%, man. And speaking of move, I mean, we have to bring up, Mike talks about Bradbury. He says he's toast, and I get it. But again, when we're winning, everything just gets hidden behind the rug a little bit, right? But how about the simple fact? I mean, Dave, you brought it up. I watched the same thing with Sidney Brown. He's just not ready, right?
No.
He can't tackle. He's making bad reads. But again, we didn't want to pay a young CJ Gardner-Johnson, whether we thought he was a problem or not. We didn't want to pay a young guy, right? So instead, what do? We lock up our two positions of emphasis that, unfortunately, as you watch with Nnamdi Asomugha, guys that get old really quick. Is anybody going to put that on Howie at all?
I think they paid CJ Gardner-Johnson, and I think he was an idiot and thought he was going to get more out there. You see what he ended up with?
Yeah, $1 million.
Yeah.
One year.
Deal. I think he screwed his own pooch. Like, that's my story on CJ. But I hear you. And then we decide, oh, you made me mad, so I'm going to go give the money to Bradbury. Like, that's where I'm with you. Like, we had to move on from one of them. We did.
Not both. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah, you couldn't
100%.
You
And I
had to
think,
pay for
like,
a safety.
I think we're seeing it. And Rich, I know you saw it, but listen, as much as Slay, or God forbid we don't call him Darius, whatever the frick his name is, but at the end of the day, like, he's a me guy. I mean, you just saw before, right before he got the injury, he's like, "Hey, I played great." Like,
Right.
bro, that's not the time for this, man.
No.
It's this is a bigger problem that people are really talking about right now. And here's a great point. I was talking about this earlier this week. Vance says we're learning that Shane Steichen is a really good coach. Javon says the same thing. Meanwhile, we're watching Shane Steichen put up 20+ points per game with Minshew and Zach Moss. Let's talk about that for a second, because I was watching him, and I mentioned this before. Like, everybody wants to put freaking Frank Reich up on a pedestal and talk about Frank Reich, and nobody's talking about Shane Steichen.
Yep.
Nobody's talking about Shane Steichen, where he's probably double the kind of offensive coordinator that my man Frank Reich is. Listen, Frank Reich did get fired, people. Like, he didn't do well, just so everybody knows, and he got fired again. He didn't do well again, so maybe he isn't the guy. Okay,
Right.
but Shane Steichen, man, like, I know people don't want to hear this name, but Dave knows this. I have a real big man crush on Kyle Shanahan. I think that Shane Steichen could be the next Kyle Shanahan, and we let him go, man. Dave, we let him go, bro.
Yeah, but how could you keep him? Like, it was the head coaching. Like, I
know.
But
I know.
it is interesting. Like, I don't think he was as appreciated as probably he should have been. So
I know I didn't. I didn't even think about it.
No, I was hollering at him almost every other week. But now that I see Brian Johnson here, I would drive to Indianapolis to go get him and bring him back.
Exactly.
I call
me and you both, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh my.
No, and Shane
it's
is
always
showing his ways out there that he can grow, and he is making that team something. And we sure miss him. But again, the talent's still here, right? How can we fix this is really the question. And I think they can. I just don't know if it's going to be good enough to beat the top tier teams. They're going to have to get a few breaks along the way.
If they commit to really playing smash mouth football, commit to the run. I mean, really commit to it every game. Like, if you notice last year, they ran the ball a lot too. They were more balanced.
Yeah, they threw like 10 times against the Giants in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no shame in running the ball 30 times. I mean, there's no shame. I mean, if you win, running the ball 30 times and you win 27-10, guess what? It doesn't say, oh, you know what? They ran the ball and they didn't pass. Well, it's a passing league. You know what? San Francisco's proven it's not. You don't have to win by passing the ball all the time.
And again, it hides our defensive flaws by playing
keep
that
them off the field.
Yep.
If you go on an 8 and 9 minute drive, guess what? That means that defense doesn't give a chance to give up points if they're sitting on the sideline. And maybe your defensive line is a little bit more fresher, and they can get, because Lord knows we don't blitz no more. I haven't seen, I mean, this team just, I know you have a lot of weaknesses where you can't, but I mean, you put Drew Lock back there, and you didn't put any kind of pressure on him for that 92-yard drive. I mean, he just sat back there and he was like thinking, bang, bang, bang. I mean, at one point you have to take a gamble and say, you know what, let's put him on his butt or get him off his spot. The D line's not getting there. Bring an extra guy. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? You get burned? Well, you got burned sitting back and hoping your line gets there. I'd rather get burned by playing aggressive than playing a non-aggressive way. I'd rather just get beat that way.
And I agree, but do either of you guys, because I think the pressure is lacking, because this defensive front is now a weakness. Teams have been running for 180 yards a week, 5 straight weeks against us.
Yeah.
And it's not even close. Like, I'm watching Jordan Davis, even Jalen Carter. Nobody's touching running back till 4 yards down the field.
Yep.
I think I almost, like, if we could have just stopped the run and been one-dimensional, I think we could now we're getting beat both ways, and that's what really scares me.
And listen, it's I know everybody wants to talk about the linebackers, right? But at the end of the day, our interior line is not stopping the run, man. And I get but that is, the linebackers are the second line of defense, man. Like, we're not, it's getting right through, and it's, oh my God, like, Real fast, my man Rich Quinones. Make sure you check him out. He's every night, man, 6 to 8. Him and my man Angel on Martinez and Company on the Tony Bruno Network. Check him out. Tony Bruno, awesome. Love how he's doing his own channel. He says, big time drive late by Drew Lock. Been saying for weeks, Eagles leaking oil. Lots of blame to go around in this one. Head coach, quarterback, defense blows a 10-point lead late against a backup. If Hurts was that ill, not sure why you trot him out there. But if he went out and played well, we would call him the ultimate gamer. Hurts had no business throwing that ball late, knowing you have a kicker that can drill for 55 yards plus. Plenty of time and just horrible decision. He says Eagles still have no identity on offense, and switch at defensive coordinator did nothing tonight. 10-1, and proclamations of the best team in the NFL have died down. 10-4 now, and the importance of home field advantage cannot be overstated. Man, Dave, that's a lot to swallow. I think I think we covered a lot of it already tonight, but he's just echoing everything we're saying, man.
He is, and I mean it's all right, and it's what we're swallowing right now, and it is the tough pill of maybe this team isn't as good as we thought they were. And I can't even say maybe. They're just not as good as we thought they were. Now, can that change? Again, I try and have a glass half full approach.
Running out of weeks, bro. Running out of weeks, though.
And we are running out of weeks. But I tweeted something out earlier. I think, we're seeing what, unfortunately, America was seeing when we were 10-1 and winning games and down at halftime. You just can't keep surviving on that kind of recipe. And right now, they're going to have to get real with each other real quick. The problem I have is I just don't know if they have the personnel in place to get this thing right. That's really where it is.
So my question is, how confident from 0 to 10, 10 being very confident, 0 just not at all, in the playoffs, how confident are you that they're going to survive even the first game they play?
Oh, 10.
You think so?
Yeah, well, they'd end up playing Tampa or New Orleans, and I'm fine. We already beat Tampa so bad. I do feel real well with the first game, and maybe that's a little bit brash there, but I still think we're the third best team in the NFC.
Toad?
I listen, man. I'm like a 5 right now, man.
Right. Yeah.
I
feel like at this point, man, they could either blow a team out and just, or they could just get demolished themselves because they're just, you like you said, you can't go into games and you leave teams hanging around that you should beat now, or you're playing against good teams and you're just finding a way to win. Like you're just getting, and fortunately for the first, 8-9 games, we had that like luck on our side. Now, I mean, it's just showing you. I mean, we're leaking oil everywhere. I mean, both offensively and defense. Like I said, you can't throw the ball. You can't throw that deep ball. You need a field goal to tie. Yep. Jake Elliott has been the best kicker in the league right now, him and Tucker. I mean, side by side. The guy's got a 60-yard leg. You needed 15 yards. So if you had 2 timeouts left, if you get the ball down the middle, you can still throw it down the middle. You get Goddard, you get A.J. Brown down the middle for 15, 20 yards. You put it in Jake's leg and say, all right, man, let's try to get it to overtime. But you throw the ball. What were you going to accomplish with that deep ball?
That's the thing, man. That was a Jalen call.
Yeah,
that's 100% a Jalen call.
But I mean, you're not getting that call,
right? Right.
But it was a bad call. And I'm with Will Williams with me 10 after round 1. He says 4 or 5. I might be 2. It really depends where to go. But I am confident in round 1. I think they would be able to beat any of the. But if they got to go to San Fran, if they're the 5 seed and have to go to San Fran, forget that.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If they go to a 5 seed.
You asked me round 1.
Confident at all, man. I might be at a negative number if they got to go to San Fran.
It's dinner reservations at 4:00.
We're looking at all season.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, man. Let's also here's another interesting part that we have to think about too. We have to realize that there's a ton of money invested in this team, right?
Yeah.
So and we've seen it. We've seen it with Doug. And I'm never a Doug Peterson guy, right? But although a year or 2 removed from a Super Bowl, and it already was time for a change, right? So, like, right. I want everybody to realize, like, And Mr. Sirianni is not invincible here. I mean, as much culture as he builds, and as much as everybody loves him, if this really goes down a dark path here, Lurie he's quick, man. He doesn't have patience. Like he is not like he does not have patience.
He wants that gold standard.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what he wants. He's not liking that, especially because as much as we say about defense, he loves offense. And I'm sure seeing these guys going out and scoring, 13, 17 points a game and getting their doors blown out when we were supposed to. Honestly, I really thought this offense was going to score about 30 to 33 points a game this year.
Me too.
I didn't think there was a defense out there that was going to stop them this year.
Yeah.
And I'm just shocked. Like the wheels fell off this fast and this bad.
Eric checking in says it's bad enough the Eagles lost. The Sixers couldn't even win against an average Bulls team, but they're due for a letdown after 2 blowout wins over the weekend.
How it works in this city, right? If once the first one loses, you almost know the second one's coming that day. Like always, like once the Sixers lost, I did have a little bit of worry in my stomach, but the Sixers have a little mulligan. Going 17.
Oh, here we go. Look, Eric's trying to spell the Bill Belichick rumors here. Just saying there's a guy by the name of Bill about to be a free agent. Bill says, 30. Yeah, exactly. And Bill, if you didn't watch the show from the very beginning, I agree with you. That's exactly what I was saying. We're talking about the defense, but we were never supposed to be talking about the defense. This was a team just like in 2017 that was just going to outscore everybody, right? This is like a Mike Martz style of offense that was just supposed to outscore everybody with no defense, right? I mean, but it's not happening. And now that we have to rely on his defense, it's showing that it's not good enough. So I mean, I don't know where we go from here. Like, what is I ask this to the audience. And again, make sure you like and subscribe in the show. Make sure you give us a follow. Heat Ratio Sports coming back in the fold. And make sure if you want to get live, the link is there. We'll get you on live, just like Rich is with us. I can break this screen up to like 18 different boxes, man. Get in. No wait times here. You can listen on hold, or you can get on live right now. And by the way, real fast, shout out to no, listen, we listen to everything, right? We listen to certain shows and this and that, but mad respect to Johnny Marks for doing what he's doing. I know Rich, I know you feel it, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
You feel it. I said the same thing, man. I will never, ever, ever get those memories back. And I am so goddamn glad that I was there for every single one of them. Dave, I know you.
Absolutely.
So good for him, man.
He's
100% spot on, Dave.
I made a decision about 13 years ago. Well, it was about 11 to stop being a road warrior and stay home, be a manager. And it was because the kids looked at me and would cry when I left the house. And I'm like, you know what? I'll never get this back. This is my choice, even though I liked what I would. Yeah, I can't applaud him enough. It is very hard to make some decisions like, especially him in the spotlight and having the mic. And let's be honest,
show, man. They're killing it.
Yeah,
killing it.
He has the power behind it. And Ike lives in my town, so I'm sure Ike is feeling a little bit because they had really good chemistry too. But you're right. One thing I wanted to get back to offense. You're talking Sirianni. One thing I want to say is the loss of Cam Jurgens tonight, I think, was really, really big. Opeta stinks.
Yes.
No, he is terrible.
Terrible, bro. You see Lane Johnson miss one play, and what's his name came. He's like, no.
Oh, I mean, listen, man. He was bringing me back to the old school. Who was that? Who was the guy who was like a human turnstile at one time? Is it Winston Justice?
Winston Justice. Yeah.
Remember that game?
Went like depression or something. Yeah.
Oh,
Sean Andrews was too. Like he was good for like 5 seconds, and then
But Vance brings up a great point, man. He says, can we talk about, because I was thinking about this between AJ and Hurts. I think it sparked them, but ultimately may have hurt the offense. Jalen only has eyes for him. And again, Troy, I like listening to Troy. I think he's very, very objective.
Yeah.
And, he made a point. He said, listen, Jalen stared at him the entire time, which allowed that safety Love to come all the way over and make that play. Rich, that's a problem, man.
He won't look off the safeties. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, that little turn to the left of the head to the other side hash mark,
Yep.
maybe he draws that safety over outside of there. Now AJ's singled up. Instead of having that safety that just lurked right over there and was an easy pickoff. I mean, you can't look down the receiver like that. I don't care how great AJ Brown is. You look down your receiver down the barrel too many times, it's gonna be an easy defense. I mean, you got
Very
to be able
easy.
to, and you got to spread the ball around. You got to, like I said, you got too many weapons. You got Devonta Smith, you got Goddard, you got Swift coming out of the backfield. You got too many weapons. I mean, if AJ's going to cry about not getting enough touches, are you playing a team game? Is it about winning or is it about stats?
And Quez should never touch the field. Give me
Never.
some
He shouldn't even be on the field.
Julio, give me just anybody. He doesn't fight for the ball like you said, Tone, and it just annoys me when I see him out there. We get no positive production out of him.
So listen, this is what I want to do because I mean, you get, and again, and there's no disrespect to the radio station or anything like that, but I think that the biggest problem at the radio stations is, they'll keep hammering the same point over and over again. So I kind of want to, I want to deflect a little bit and just say this, because I think this is a good point, because I have to ask this question because I know it's going to start, right? It's going to start and it's going to be about Jalen, right? So listen, I get it. This is not the Jalen Hurts of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand this. But the question I have to everybody is, why? Because I know this is coming. I haven't seen it yet, but it's coming. But why do we continue to tear these athletes down in this city? And I'm bringing this up because, when the Phillies didn't win, right away, people want to attack Bryce Harper, right? When the Eagles are going to win, right away, you want to rip down Jalen Hurts. You want to rip down Joel Embiid. And listen, I've been very critical of Joel Embiid, but not to the point where people are like, they're going after personal family members. They're going after like wives and stuff. Like, why? This is what gives us a bad name. And I don't understand, because you have two guys, specifically in Bryce Harper and Jalen Hurts, who are your Philly type of players, right? Like Bryce Harper is the guy that you want. He's the guy you want your kid to watch right now. He grew up. He grew. Like he was never mature like he is now, right? He grew it, and you want to rip him down. Jalen Hurts gives you all the right things, and now you're going to say, maybe he's too proper. What the hell is too proper, man? I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating here, but I just feel like, unfortunately, Dave, we just continue to rip these guys down, and I don't think it's warranted, man.
You're right. Yeah, 3 weeks ago we had him on the podium for MVP. Buffalo. But Buffalo performance was one of the best we've ever seen. He's had some 3 bad weeks in a row, and whatever it's contributed to, you're allowed to not be good for a little bit. That's why for me, I'm going to have the patience with Jalen Hurts. I've learned some over the time here that he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. We could have Derek Carr, who stinks. We could have, and I'm not going to name the backup quarterbacks, but there's a lot of bad starting quarterbacks out there in the league. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, if not top 3. So you Hurts not far behind Mahomes and Allen, right? So I will have some patience. I'm not going to tear him down, but you're right. We're all about the immediate. We're all about the now. I do think at times, and I want to give Philly fans credit because it happened with Trey Turner. I do think at times, when we know we got to rally around someone, we will. So I'll be surprised to see how we do with Jalen Hurts on the radio this week.
Yeah, I do too, man.
Yeah, I just think that, the problem is that, it's the what have you done for me lately? There's no more grace period in sports. It's the give me the win now. I don't care what you did for me, 4 games ago. You know what I mean? So you got to understand, everyone's entitled. I mean, Tone, you'll know it. Dave, you'll know it. Everyone has a bad day. Everybody has a bad couple of weeks, man. I mean, the problem is we're not out. Well, Tone, you are, but we're my job. I wasn't out in the public. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to, I may get criticized in work, but I go out down the street and Joe Blow doesn't say, hey, you stink. You know what I mean? You suck. You get out of here. We run it. I can't wait to get you out of town. we don't deal with that, So I mean, like to me, yeah, I guess maybe because we're all older now.
Could be.
It
that
does
we have this
contribute
look.
to,
Like
yeah,
maybe in our 20s, we might want to run them out of town tonight. But
yeah.
you get a little wiser with age, and you think, oh, I mean, hey, the guy's struggling. Offensive coordinator is not helping him. He's not putting him in good positions. I hate to bring Andy Reid up with that famous, I got to be better, but I'm not putting my players in the best position to play.
Yep.
I mean, which is the truth. I mean, it's a team game. I mean, so
Yes.
to put it all on Hurts is,
It's not fair.
mean,
It's
it's not fair,
It's
but
not.
he's the quarterback.
Yeah.
But I mean, unfortunately, you get paid the most. That's where the blame's going to go
All the
I mean,
time. All the
and
time.
it's always the guy. Joel Embiid paid the most. That's where the blame's going to go.
Oh,
Bryce
yeah, I mean,
Harper.
it's always. It's just like these guys give us and hold on, this fellas happens all the time. That's why I love it. So I'm sure we've been infiltrated by a Seattle Seahawks guy, which I'm thinking. Okay, so Jacob, please state: are you a Seattle guy? Or are you just saying that you're a Philly guy? You just think we're frauds? That's fine. I'm just kind of
It
curious.
might not be us. It might be all Philly fans. Who knows?
It could be, which is fine. And I'm just curious. I'd love to have a conversation. Everybody's welcome, man. Everybody's welcome. I just want to, because if it is Seattle, I'm like, hold on, pump the brakes, bro. Because at the end of the day, you'll be home eating popcorn while we at least are in a playoff. So just calm down. You got a game. I get it.
They have no that future there. Geno Smith, come on,
we knew
they're stuck in mediocrity.
We knew. We all knew. Gino had his career. He had his time in the sunshine. He's done. He's you know what I mean? He blew his load. He's out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We already knew. Javon says people forget how much growth Hurts has shown from year one to now and what he did last year. There's no such thing as a perfect quarterback. Even Mahomes. And that's the thing. Even Mahomes, and I'm glad he brought that up because, whenever Mahomes has these bad games, and he's throwing pick after pick, nobody's saying anything, right? Josh Allen was horrendous in the beginning of the year this year. And now all of a sudden they're saying if he could put together like 2 or 3 great games at the end, he could be the MVP. But as soon as Jalen Hurts, right, doesn't flip the switch and say it's 2022 again, right away he stinks. Right away he's got that stiff car coming out saying Mariota should start. Right away he's got Sims, just destroying them, right? Emmanuel Acho, whatever these frauds are. It's all the time, man. It's just it's so ridiculous that it just kills me. It really does. Real fast, Eric says, however, if Embiid doesn't get a pass because it's been the same. Now I will say that not to change up the topics to basketball, but real quick on that comment, I do agree. Embiid shouldn't get a pass because he's been consistently doing it year in and year out. So he only has his leash is very short. With me,
yes.
Eric says the Chiefs lost 3 games themselves. The Niners did too.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a great point, but nobody talks about that. And sometimes, Rich, I don't know how to take that. I don't know. It's like one of those things that people talk about you, you take it a good way, be like, hey, man, that's just because everybody's a little jealous, or do we take it as, man, they just love to pick us apart. It's like, for some reason, man, Philadelphia is on the top of everybody's agenda. No matter if we're winning or losing, for some reason, man, we're always on the agenda.
Yeah, I just feel like, they, especially the national media, I mean, Philadelphia, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you've seen it in the NFL, some of these ridiculous things that are happening with some of the fans out there. And I mean, the moment, anything happens in Philadelphia, it's just that mentality of the national media just loves to just rip us apart. I mean, it's just always been that way. I mean, come on, Tone, you know this. I mean, they still talk about throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. That was in 1960. I mean, that's 60 years ago.
So ridiculous.
It's
so
60
ridiculous.
plus years ago. You're talking about something that happened.
And they know nothing about it, by the way.
Right.
The guy they took from the stands.
Right. And he was drunk.
Yeah. And had no
skinny.
Yeah, and the bag they gave him was not like a bag of toys that they promised. Everything, stop.
But I mean, that's just the old tired narrative. I mean, it's just easy to pick on Philadelphia because of past. I mean,
No,
yeah,
because we
we were the
bring,
city that had a stadium that had a jail cell underneath. I
but
mean,
we
I
bring
was there.
them money. We bring them. We're so many people that bring them the attention that they got to put us in the media. Like Philadelphia is the best sports town in the world. Of course, they're going to pick on us. They know we're going to fight back.
Yeah. I mean, it's the good thing and the bad thing about the city. Like I mean, we were just up there in October, and like you just see it's passion. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it's displaced, but it's passion. So I mean, and I'll always be proud of wherever I go, here, there, or everywhere. I'm proud to say I'm from Philadelphia. I was born and raised in Kensington. I have no problem saying that. I'm Philly proud. I don't care. I mean, it's just the way I am. But I mean, it's just I think we get a bad rap in a lot of parts of it. So I mean, I'm I always enjoy coming back. Like I mean, we moved down to South Carolina, and I mean, it's just it's a different world down here. I can tell you that.
I've been there.
I mean,
Yep.
the sports are totally different down here. I mean, than Philadelphia. I mean, I had four. I mean, I was 5 for 5. I mean, Union, even 6 for 6 with the lacrosse too. I mean, sports everywhere. I mean, so that's the thing I could say about the city is there's passion in every sport that they have there.
Check this out. Get your guys' thoughts on this, because while you guys are talking, it's giving me time to kind of get some quotes from the press conference. And Jalen Hurts takes the podium. He says, Jalen Hurts calls out Eagles and himself, says, we talk about execution all year and everyone being on the same page. This is telling to me, I don't think we're committed enough. We need to turn it around, and that starts with me as a leader of this team. That's courtesy of Eagles Nation on Twitter at PHL Eagles Nation. I mean, listen, Dave, when I don't like to see we're not committed enough. That's a problem.
It is, but someone talked about it earlier. His attitude on the sidelines and just sitting there despondent. Maybe he needs to step up and walk around and make him committed. Yeah, I mean, I know your leadership style is probably a little different than Tom Brady's, but there is a time and a moment. He's gotten in the face of AJ before. Maybe if that's the case, we gotta step up and do something about it. And listen, I love it. I don't, like you said, I don't love that little sentence in the middle, but I love the fact that, hey, we got to do something about it, and it starts with me. I love that about him. I really do.
What is the thing with not? I would like to have a follow-up question of that statement would be, well, what is the committed part? What do you mean by we're not committed? Like, is it in practice? Is it committed to the run? Is it committed to execution? Like, what part of the committed? That's the follow-up question I would want. Like, what does not committed mean? Because that I mean, like I just said, I brought up 5 different things. Well, which one? Is it all of them? Is it one of them? Is it 2 of them? Like, where are you going with that? Because that's very concerning to me.
I bet.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I bet
he says I have to be better, minimizing the mistakes, mental errors. It starts with me getting better. We've lost games because I could do better. That'll change everything. And I accept that.
Yeah, I tell you, I love him. I still.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
follow that guy to war any day of the week.
Right?
I really will.
I mean, but again, like, this is why I'm saying I'd much rather have this guy than some arrogant guy that's blaming everybody else. It's just, man, again, it's just, as we close this out, again, we could talk all night, but and I'll go around and everybody check in on here. We have 4 games left, right, Dave? 3 games left? 3 games. 3 games
Giants,
left.
Cardinals, Giants.
Yep.
So, Dave, or Rich, I'll start with you. Rich,
okay.
3 games left. What's our record in the last 3 games? What do we go in these 3 games? And if there is a loss or there's not a loss, where's it at?
As bad as I think the Giants are, the game scares me up at the Giants. I really think that, I really think that the Cardinals at this point are just, they're
Yeah.
just done. Like their defense is shredded. I mean, so I really can't see that being a loss. I think this week coming up, they're going to get everything right, and they'll be more committed to the run and maybe keep the defense off. And it's Tommy DeVito, so they should be able to beat him at home. I mean, if they don't, then then it might be a different answer. But I really can't see them not still going 3-0. I really can't. I mean, these 3 games, I can't see them losing. But that last game against the Giants, up at the Giants, scares me. I mean, it really does. I mean, and like I said, I mean, if that puts them down to the 5th seed, man, going to San Francisco is not a pleasant thought.
Oh.
But I mean, I can't see them losing any of these 3 games. I mean, if they do, there's a really big concern at that point. I mean, then I have no faith in this team to do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah. Listen, it's not easy to win on the road in January. That's for damn sure, man. Dave, what do you got, man?
3-0. Listen, they beat the Giants by a score of 108-45 last year, composite, and they did it by running the ball down their throats. I do really think they're going to be able to dominate. I agree with Rich, that game up in New York, if it really means something, and Daboll's coaching for his job, there could be some little things in play there that could make that game a little more scary, but the next 2 should be blowouts. And then the third, we'll see how that rolls out, but I do think they get the 3-0. I still got to look because now that Dallas lost to an AFC team, we had the conference tiebreaker of them. I got to see where the next tiebreaker is, because I think Dallas might need to lose again.
I think they lose to Miami this week.
Yeah, I do. And the Dolphins and the Lions are on their schedule too. I know that's, a coin flip there, but yeah, one of those 2, I think they can.
Yeah. I think they definitely, they played Miami at Miami, and then they play the Lions at home. So, I mean, I say more so that Miami has a chance to beat them this week coming up again,
Yep.
Miami's a really good team at home. They put up a lot of points.
Yeah, so
they do.
Last point I'll make, Tony, and I want to hear what you think. This is right around the time when we lost Carson Wentz a few years ago, and all was, set for bad. And we feel bad now, 3 in a row. If you win 3 in a row going in and you win them looking pretty good, I think the mood of this team changes and we get that mojo back. So it's going to be really important to get this ball rolling downhill quick this week and getting a good dominant win. The Saints just blew out the Giants. I really think you need to win decisively and get that mojo, not for us fans, for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, it's very, very good points. Everybody checking in great points, and I think we could take something from all of them. But I hate to be a negative guy, and I'm really trying not to be. Yeah. But I would think at this point, like I just look at other things, right? Like something, we've been talking about it week in and week out, that something's not the same on this team. I don't know what it is. I'm a big body language guys. People used to hate when I used to talk about body language. Yep. I mean, so embrace used to kill me when I say body language of Ben Simmons. If Rich remembers, right?
Yes, I do.
The body language of this team, not just Jalen Hurts, shows me that something's not right, and I don't know what it is. Listen, sometimes you have the perfect recipe, and I think last year everything just went great. Right, everything just went great.
Every move was made correctly.
Right, exactly. When we won the Super Bowl, everything just went right. But something isn't right this year. And unfortunately, what happens is, like we've talked about it before, we love AJ Brown, right? Love him, but he is a wide receiver and wide receivers are divas. We know that, right? And you have 2 alphas with him and Devontae Smith that both want the ball, because Devontae Smith knows, listen, I want a $100 million contract, and I'm not going to get it if I got to share the ball with AJ Brown.
Right.
So as much as they want to talk, so there's a lot of dynamics going on in this team. So I just look at it as, 1 and 2 to me would be what I expect. I honestly think now that this hole is dug so deep, you've already set a precedent where you've made a change at the defensive side of the ball. And what's that going to say too for the offensive side of the ball, right? So what's the side going to say? Yo, when's Brian Johnson get shipped upstairs? How come? I mean, listen, they talked about the side being a team guy, but eventually I'd be like, wait a minute. Why? How come I get canned upstairs, but this dude can't even score 6 points a game, but he's still on the sideline. What? Because he's Jalen's boy? Like that kind of shit starts to go in people's heads. So I don't have a good feeling right now. I don't know what's going to happen. I just don't think it ends well. But listen, we could go on all night. Before I get out of here, before we get out of here, I will say thank you for everybody joining in. Listen, I know that took a step back a little bit, was doing a lot of different stuff. There's so much going on 2024. Make sure you check into the Blue Coats Beat, the all new podcast for the Blue Coats that I'm hosting with Coach Joe Richmond for the Blue Coats, actually interviewing the legend Sonny Hill tomorrow, which will be great. I can't wait for that. And we got Jameer Nelson coming on the following week. You're going to be catching the Heat Ratio crew down at the games, actually covering the games, maybe doing some live cameos from the game as well. So there's a lot of great things. It's just a great community. Rich has been following me forever. Dave's been my boy for a long time. I just love the interaction with everybody. I really do. And I love that people would hit me up in my DMs, be like, yo, dude, what's going on? Where's the show? Life happens, man. It's all I'm gonna tell you. Life happens.
It does.
And sometimes if you take a step back and you kind of look and say, okay, let's rebuild, let's do something, but take our time, and that's what we're kind of doing. So, and I enjoy that. But Rich, I want to thank you for joining in, brother. This is pretty cool, man. I love that you got the hop on and you got in, man. I love it.
Hey, anytime I'm available. Anytime you need me.
and Rich, I don't forget you're the bowling guy too, man.
Yeah,
so,
I am.
we talk a little Walter Ray and Pete Weber. Maybe we have to get Rich back on the show.
A little bit of bowling, a little bit of wrestling.
Yeah, man. No, man. As always, man. Let Rich, real quick, final thoughts, man. Anything you want before you get out of here.
I'm just hoping and throwing a little prayer upstairs that this team can figure out what they can do to get back on the page that they were last year. And to both you guys, just happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a happy, healthy New Year to you guys. I mean, like I said, I've been with Tone for years, so I mean,
love
it's
it,
just
man.
like it's love like my little brother.
I love it, man. It's what it's all about. That's what I always say. It's what it's all about, man. Like it's just it's a great community. I love it, and I love when we can interact and digitally, virtually. Hopefully one day we get to grab a burger, or something together when you come back from town. But yeah, man, I echo the same thing. Dave, final thoughts.
Hey, Rich, thanks for joining us. It's been awesome having you check in and getting together. Love it, and like you said, Tone, Heat Ratio Sports is back, baby. I mean, we've been doing some things, but it's going to be back in 2024. Loud and proud. We're really rocking and rolling. It's the only good thing I got going on tonight because this one's going to sting for a while. It really is. And it sucks going right into a Christmas. Luckily, I can block out some stuff maybe, right? We can just go and enjoy the time with the family and not maybe kind of drown in misery right now, but it's going to hurt. And they're going to have to earn our trust and our excitement back because we were on a high 3 weeks ago. We need to get back there, and I hope we can, but I'm just not so sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. Everything you just said, we're back. I love it. Rich for checking in. Happy holidays to everybody. A safe and tremendous holiday. And I would say this, shout out to all the radio hosts out there, whether I like you or I don't. Man, this week is going to be hell for you. It is going to be hell. So even if I don't like you, I sure as hell respect that you have to sit there and listen to this dreck for the entire week. It's going to be tough, man. But as always, like I always like to say, man, everybody, as always, great holiday. Stay healthy.